Welcome back to part 2 of my brief Mechwarrior Online video series here. This is second map, I believe it's Forest Colony Snow. Just normal Forest Colony. Yeah, this is much like River City, it's one of the smaller maps in game. But it's once again on Conquest. We're going to be dropping on the resource mode. Sorry about the black screen at the moment, that is just what happens when you load in. There we go. Yeah, some of the basic information. So, teams are two teams of 12 mechs each. They'll be dropping in what's called lances. A lance is 4 mechs aside, and they're broken into groups of Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Ideally, there is communication between the lances. There's a big competitive scene at the moment where you've got quite a few players working in sort of homebrew leagues and other tournaments have been set up, and the game is set that you can play on your own, where you'll be mixed with other random players from a queue based on the usual thing, matchmaking. Then you've got groups where you can drop in groups of 2 to 4 as a maximum, and then you have 12 where you can have a full team of people all dropping together. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm part of a group known as Tor Art of Warfare, and we generally do regular drops at least twice a week. A group of us get online and we go in for 2 to 4 man drops, and generally it's a good laugh. The game is a hell of a lot better with voice communication. It's not bad on your own, but you would see that with the comms it's a lot more fun. I intend probably either this weekend or next I'll be posting up some gameplay footage of me in the group games, so you'll actually be able to hear me and my other clanmates over the comms. We'll be discussing things, we'll be calling out targets, where we're going and that kind of thing. You'll probably get to see the other game types as well, which as I said earlier are Assault and Skirmish. Now, as I said in the previous video, this is still the Banshee, still the same mech, slightly different weapons loadout again. It's not perfect, and I think you'll see in my later videos when I post them up that I've got the build down to one I like. Still slow and bumbling, and this map is kind of split into 2 parts. You have this sort of receded seabed area, and you can see earlier there's the massive boat that's been split in half, and then you've got the hilly mountainous area. They say it's a forest. I wouldn't really say there's much of a forest to stomp around in over there, but there's the hills with a large sort of cave pass that goes through that you can use to sort of sneak around and flank past them. As you can see, there's a light mech. That's how much sort of chaos they can cause, and nearly every weapon is direct fire. You have weapons broken down into 3 basic groups. You've got energy, which counters things as lasers, flamers, and you've got what's called PPCs, or particle projection cannons. Basically it's a lightning bolt gun. Then you've got your ballistics, which are things like auto cannons, which are just big, loud, awesome sounding guns that just tear through mechs pretty rapidly. And then you've got your missiles. I'm firing LRM-20 there, which is the biggest of the LRM series. That means long range missile. They are used to pelt targets from range, and some mechs are built specifically around carrying those weapons and nothing else. And you can quickly see, you can see the LRMs streaking across. A really beautiful effect that goes across. For all the faults you may hear about this game, visually it's stunning. It looks so nice with the new DirectX 11 features as well. But there are SRMs, which are short-range missiles, and the missiles are pretty much the only weapons that lock in the game. The rest of it is purely down to your skill. You get a certain handle for it. It can probably be a bit disorientating at first, sort of moving around. If you've played any tank vehicle warfare games, you'll know that the basics are basically the turning with the mouse is your turret, which in this game is the upper half of the mech, and the lower half is your legs, controlled by default by the WASD keys, WASD. And once you get used to that kind of turning, it becomes kind of natural. It's almost second nature to you. And it's not just a game about shooting at the center mass. because generally that's one of the worst things you can do to a mech. I mean, unless you've got superior firepower where you're all firing on the same target at once. Generally, you want to be aiming for things like the legs or the left and right torsos, because mechs are broken up into several different parts. If you can see in the bottom left there, you can see that my mech is broken into the central section, the head, which is the most difficult part to hit, 2 legs, 2 arms, and a left and right torso.
Target acquired.
Some mechs have weapons all in their arms. Some mechs will have weapons mainly in their torsos. And it becomes a sort of quick tactical game of when you encounter a target, realizing, okay, how's this going to be built? What kind of weapons is he going to have? And you may want to aim for those areas. But there's lots of other layers to consider as well. As you go in as a more advanced player, there's different types of engines. There's ones that are called extra light that weigh less and can actually get better speed out of your mech. But the downside is if you lose one of your left or right torsos, you instantly die. You just don't have an engine anymore. That's the trade-off. But you can fit more guns, and there I go, I die. Not because of an XL engine, I just blunder in there and I end up going toe-to-toe with a medium mech that's got the biggest gun in the game, the AC-20, Auto Cannon 20. It doesn't matter what you are, no mech wants to go headlong into an AC-20, and that mech was called a Hunchback. And as I said, you should check out the site if you're interested in this, mwomercs.com. They've got every mech on there you can see. You can download the client once you make an account, and yeah, it's I think it's one of the better multiplayer free-to-play shooters out there. If you play World of Tanks, some of it will be very similar the way it all works with the queuing system and stuff. The one thing that this game really lacks and has been lacking for a while now has been a sort of community system for large-scale warfare, and they're working on it, but they have been for a long time. Credit where it's due, the team have done a good amount of work. They're using the CryEngine, similar to Star Citizen, so they are regularly having to overcome hurdles that the Star Citizen team have come up with, things like the multiplayer backend, the server stability, and the fact that they're basically taking an engine that wasn't built to do this and making it do that. If any of you know what the CryEngine is, it's essentially it's a first-person shooter engine, and this game is technically a first-person shooter, but there's a lot more going on in it, and yeah, they've had to strip out a lot of stuff to make this work. Now, once you're dead, you're in spectator mode. I forgot to mention in the previous video, you only have 1 life per map. You don't respawn, so it doesn't matter how many mechs you've got. You don't keep coming back. Although there have been rumours of a mode like this coming along called dropship mode, where you'll be able to drop with at least 4 of your mechs that you own. But yeah, other videos I will have to talk about some other specifics. There are non-combat equipment that you can have installed in your mechs. You can have things like targeting lasers, which help friendly mechs target quicker with their LRMs, and they hit more successfully. And there's NARC launchers, which are basically little beacons for LRMs to lock quicker, and it also breaks through jamming systems, that kind of thing. There are many layers to the game, and this round is now winding down again. This time, sorry, the team that I'm on have actually done well. We've captured 3 of the 5 points, which means we'll be ahead on the points. So if we reach the maximum of 750, it doesn't matter if we only have 1 ally left, we'll still win. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, I urge you, please go check out mwomercs.com, download the client, jump around, have a bit of a look. If you have any problems about the game or any questions, just leave me a comment here on this video. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And if you're that into it after a while and you want to join a group for some 4-man games or 12-man drops, check us out at www.tor.net.